So, you've decided to play Streets of Rogue and you wish to get better. Well then, as someone who's 100%ed this game through Steam achievements, let me help yins out. I'm Ian, and this is my Streets of Rogue character guide to the Slum Dweller. The Slum Dweller is one of the 5 base characters you can play in Streets of Rogue. This means you don't need any DLC or special unlock requirements to actually play him. Merely just owning the game and starting it up will allow you to access the Slum Dweller from the get. As his description reads, starting from nothing, the humble Slum Dweller is willing to rise up and do whatever it takes to make it in this crazy world. This typically involves beating up random people for their cash, scrounging trash for barrels of bacon cheeseburgers, a true personification of the American dream. And start from nothing indeed. With only a bottle of whiskey as your starting equipment and your starting attributes set to 2 across the board except for melee, which is even lower at 1, you aren't exactly a powerhouse at game start. While starting with a bottle of whiskey will let you buy another bottle every floor at a loadout-o-matic, this means very little to you since you'll probably be short on cash constantly due to your big quest. Speaking of which, your character unique big quest is called Moving On Up. It's among one of the easiest big quests of all the characters. Simply pay 50 money via ATM or cleric, but usually ATM since ATMs are guaranteed to spawn on every floor and a lot less likely to shoot you on average. But if the local ATM explodes, or if you forgot to pay on the previous floor because you were distracted by killer robots, zombie outbreaks, or an angry mob, or worse still, the Settlement blew up and now you have no way to get the money until the next floor because of said killer robots, zombie outbreaks, and or angry mobs, you can always pay a maximum of 100 money on the next floor, but you will lose out on EXP if you do it this way. So treat this quest like your credit card and make the minimum payments, and not a single cent more. If you can do that, and start from the slums and reach the mayor's village, you'll evolve like a Pokemon into an upper cruster, granting you a +1 to speed and endurance, but at the cost of -1 to firearms. This will also grant you the upper crusty trait, allowing you to use alarm buttons and make cops, super cops, and cop bots loyal towards you. Additionally, if you complete the big quest and turn on the mutator called Super Special Ability, you can start your run as the Upper Cruster instead, giving you the aforementioned boons mentioned above, as well as replace your whiskey with 300 money and 3 walkie-talkies. Just remember you can only make a maximum 100 money payment per floor, so don't get any ideas of paying off all the money you need for the quest on a single floor. But what tools do you have to aid you in this quest to ensure its completion? Well, let's cover that in Next we have traits. Firstly, with the Slum Dweller is Super Studious. Aside from making you the envy of every college student during finals week, it also grants a boost to EXP gain, making level ups far more frequent, and given how you get a full heal on level up, this can be a literal lifesaver. Combined with their second skill, Potential Not to Suck, which grants a random attribute boost every other level up, as well as Jack of All Trades, which grants you extra traits to choose from at the end of the floor after each level up, you have one recipe for an ungodly snowball. I do advise, however, to swap these traits out just before confronting the mayor at an augmentation booth, since once in the mayor's village, the Jack of Extra Trades skill does literally nothing for you anymore, and Potential Not to Suck will have minimal effects since it only works on level up and you're unlikely to get more than one of those once per floor, Mayor's Village included. Super Studious should also be swapped out if possible. This is due to the fact that unless you're close to a level up, its effects become insignificant at that point in the game. With abilities such as this, the Slum Dweller is very easily set up to snowball with extreme ease. However, getting the ball rolling can be quite difficult, since you lack any special abilities like other characters at the very start to facilitate this growth. Therefore, you should play with caution more so than normal in the early game. With Jack of extra traits, you'll have cream of the crop for traits to pick from at the end of a floor. Some useful traits in my experience are GPS, which makes finding the ATM for your big quest easier on top of being a great quality of life trait. The Last Survivor is always good since it lets you use explosives with reckless abandon, and Wall Walloper can literally open walls and other shortcuts for you to get wherever you want. My final verdict? I give the Slum Dweller a snowball out of 10. His snowball potential is undeniable, however his inability to reliably get said ball rolling makes him nothing more than an average character in my eyes. Which is unsurprising, given that he's one of the base characters you start with. It only makes sense that he would be an average pick. All in all, the Slum Dweller is like a Fire Emblem growth unit. Great if you put forth the time and effort to do so, but with so many options in the game, you'd be forgiven for opting for alternative routes for success. Thank you all for watching. I've been Ian, and this was my character guide to the Streets of Rogue character, the Slum Dweller.